bright flame in this flare is generated by a combination of elements. The active ingredients are a blend of more than one element. A compound is a pure substance that is made of more than one element. Nearly everything you come in contact with is made of different combinations of elements, or compounds. There are millions of compounds. While some compounds, such as water, are made of hydrogen and oxygen, others are quite complex, such as plastics, made of dozens of compounds. Compounds are made of molecules. If we were to break down this piece of salt into the smallest piece of matter that still had the properties of salt, we would have a molecule. A molecule is two or more atoms with specific properties that have bonded together. It is the smallest piece of a compound that still has the properties of a compound. These are salt molecules, with a large atom of chlorine and a small atom of sodium. If we were to break apart this salt molecule, we would have sodium and chlorine atoms, but we would not have a salt molecule. It is possible to separate a molecule of water. For example, by passing an electric current through this blue-colored water, the water molecules are separated into oxygen and hydrogen gas, as seen here by these rising bubbles. In order to work more easily with elements, scientists developed a system of letters and numbers, or chemical symbols, used to represent elements. Chemical symbols use one or two letters from the name of the element. For example, the element sulfur, shown here, is symbolized by the letter S. Sometimes two letters are used, such is the case with copper, symbolized by the two letters capital C and small u. Sometimes the chemical symbols are derived from the Latin word for the element, as is the case with lead, which has the chemical symbol Pb from the word plutonium. As we discussed earlier, elements can be represented by chemical symbols. Chemical symbols can be placed together to make a chemical language. Different chemical symbols can be placed together to make a chemical formula which can represent a compound, such as copper sulfate. A chemical formula is an abbreviated way of symbolizing chemical substances. For example, you may already be familiar with the chemical formula for water, H2O. The H stands for hydrogen, and the O stands for oxygen. What does the 2 stand for? 2 means that there are 2 atoms of hydrogen. The small 2 is called a subscript. A subscript is a small number written below a letter or number. It indicates the number of atoms in the compound. Here you can see sulfuric acid reacting with a piece of metal. Sulfuric acid is important in making fertilizers, fabrics, and plastics. The chemical formula for sulfuric acid is H2SO4. It is made of 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of sulfur, and 4 atoms of oxygen.